going on, Jerome's beautiful Thursday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, fortunately, the story of the Vikings right meow is the massive injury report. Also, this doesn't even count like Aaron Jones or CJ Ham or Blake Cashman, who are on injured reserve, so don't have to appear on the injury report. Like, injuries derail seasons, and the Vikings are like teetering on the edge, right? The Vikings are 1-1, but fortunately, like we said a bunch, a lot of these are short-term injuries, and hopefully this team should be back to full strength by midseason. Hopefully J.J. McCarthy will be back as well, so who knows. But a couple DNP'd on Wednesday, so Wednesday practice, first of 3 for a Sunday game. It's always sort of, whatever. A lot of veteran players will get some time off, and a lot of nicks and bruises will be given extra time to heal. But Ryan Kelly, Justin School in the concussion protocol, probably won't be playing on Sunday, especially given Kelly's concussion history. McCarthy, who's not on the injury report, not on injury reserve, so he's got to be listed on the injury report. DNP with the ankle. I actually expect McCarthy to be back after the bye, unless Carson Wentz shreds it, man. So who knows? Then a bunch limited: Grenard, Jackson, Theo Jackson, Austin Keys, Josh Oliver, Harrison Smith, Andrew Van Ginkel. So Van Ginkel is actually trending upwards towards playing. He and Okudah had concussions in the same game, week 1. Van Ginkel is limited, had the red no contact jersey. Jeff Okudah should be back and good to go. I expect both of them to be available on Sunday. And then Harrison Smith, I don't know at this point. But some other good news for the Vikings is Christian Darrisaw returned to full, and as well as he posted this on the gram. Lil Baby, free promo. That's right. I think that Darrisaw is chomping at the bit, right? And his comment, so Darrisaw's pretty soft-spoken, but you could tell from his comments last week where it's like, when asked about his injury, you got to talk to Kevin O'Connell. Just a little snark. That's the most snark that we've ever heard from Darrisaw. He wants to get back on the field. I understand the team and the medical staff taking it very easy with him, but also, if Darrisaw is 100% and you still let Justice School out there and let J.J. McCarthy get rocked and injured, nah. So obviously I want Darrisaw back. Obviously I want him 100%, but if and when he plays on Sunday, I'm going to have a lot of questions about why you allowed your future franchise quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, to go out there basically with 4 offensive linemen, because Justin School was just not it. Yeah. Something is it, though. Is Margaret and Rocco Walkathon. Jerome's been very gracious so far. All Venmos, Cash Apps donated to the school fundraiser. Runs through October 15th. Margaret's crushed it 2 of the last 3 years. Rocco, let's get him up the leaderboard, right? And I've never wanted to go to a school board or PTA meeting, but I'm going to advocate for much better prizes for most raised for the walkathon. Oh, I'm a lobbyist now. I guess this is how government gets done. Anyways, but again, thank you so much, Jerome's. You've been very generous throughout the years, very generous this year as well, and you guys are the best. And they're very thankful. And their pet grasshopper named Cucumber was very thankful as well. Also, speaking of AVG, Emily Liker, Star Tribune, both Andrew Van Ginkel and Jeff Okudah, who missed last week in concussion protocol, were practicing today. AVG had a red no-contact jersey. Okudah did not. So obviously having AVG back will be great for the run defense as well as pass rush. And Okudah returning definitely frees up what they can do in the secondary. And also you can have Metellus in the slot a little bit less. And if Harrison Smith returns, we could actually be good to go. Who knows? Yeah. Also, Pelissero, go. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said J.J. McCarthy high ankle sprain is in a boot, das Boot, and responding well in the early stages of rehab. Oh, but I was told that was all fake. That was all fake news because, Kevin O'Connell wanted to bench him, so they just had to make up a reason. So basically they just took a baseball bat to McCarthy's ankle, which, by the way, if you ever had a high ankle sprain, it's no joke, man. It's rough. It's certainly not as bad as turf toe, because turf toe needs a better name. How about like severed pointing knives toe foot, or I don't know. But so everyone's familiar with the ankle sprain. Like, you roll your ankle playing out the playground, playing ball or something, sure. But high ankle sprain, that's a whole different animal, man. It's tough. And then Carson Wentz, Kevin O'Connell reiterated Carson Wentz will start Saturday versus Cincinnati with UDFA rookie Max Brosmer as the backup, Desmond Ridder as the emergency quarterback 3. And with Wentz, obviously, Midwestern kid, grew up a Vikings fan, so it's kind of a great story. It's unfortunate that we got here how we did, but it's good for him and his family. Gessling Strib. Carson Wentz, the Vikings starter for Sunday. I grew up rooting for this team. It's one of those things when you play long enough, you kind of forget about those things. Running out of that tunnel this week will probably hit me a bit different. Darrisaw back. Addison gets back next week. Addison's been practicing the last 2 weeks. And Kevin O'Connell, quarterback whisper, and this offensive line settles down. Ryan Kelly gets back from concussion protocol. All of a sudden, this FU offense with a veteran quarterback who can spin it. I mean, everything is set up. Like all offseason, we talked about how J.J. McCarthy is set up for success, and that really fell apart quickly because of injuries. But now Carson Wentz has the keys to Ferrari, man. And he's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I actually feel like Carson Wentz could really be something here. And it's a win-win for Vikings fans because either Carson Wentz is really good and the Vikings win some games, or he's ass and we see Max Brosmer. Everybody wins. And Wentz, so Wentz has interesting perspective on this as a young quarterback in his second year, having a second-team All-Pro, basically like an MVP-type season. He gets hurt, tears ACL against the Rams, and Nick Foles comes in end of the season, into the playoffs, to win a Super Bowl, allegedly, and he had to just watch that. So he knows. All right. Will Ragged Sports Illustrated. Carson Wentz on what he said to J.J. McCarthy after learning of his injury. Career's long, stay the course. He's in good spirits, and hopefully he gets better soon. Because, I mean, Wentz, I don't know, like, Carson Wentz has always had, don't want to say like reputation, but it feels like he wears out his welcome wherever he goes. And also, like, the late, great Jim Irsay's comments when he was out the door in Indianapolis, that's just like, But, you know, he's older, mature, and he's any sort of prima donna, like, that's gone. Like, the NFL will humble you, life will humble you, and maybe, you know, life perspective, Carson Wentz is exactly what the Vikings need. It's exactly what the Vikings got in Randall Cunningham in 98, preacher, granite countertops. That's what the Vikings got in Case Keenum, gunslinger, 2017. So why not? Right? Why not? Who knows? Also, ideally, Carson Wentz is going to have a better offensive line, right? And this is why it's so hard to write off J.J. McCarthy, because I understand, like, again, could you imagine the discourse if McCarthy didn't have that fourth quarter against the Bears? But 7 out of 8 quarters, not so great football, right? And you could blame McCarthy. You could blame Kevin O'Connell. You can definitely blame the offensive line because it has not been good. And not just because Darrisaw's not there, but because everyone else hasn't really been showing up. Vikes fan page. The Vikings offensive line has given up the second most sacks, 9, and ranks 5th in pressure rate this season, 40%, despite Minnesota investing $60.5 million in the unit, the 4th highest total in the NFL. Now, a large part of that is Darrisaw, yes, but also, I mean, Brian O'Neill's on a premium contract. Ryan Kelly got a nice 3rd contract. Will Fries is getting $88 million per year. Donovan Jackson, first-round pick. So, yes, the investment has certainly been there. Where's the production? And I understand, like, this could come from lack of preseason reps, but also, I mean, preseason vanilla defenses are not regular season defenses, right? And you could practice all you want, but I don't know. But it's something that has to get fixed in a hurry because there's no quarterback on planet Earth, let alone a first-time starting quarterback through 2 games that could have succeeded behind this offensive line. Not Joe Burrow, not Mahomes, maybe Josh Allen, maybe Lamar, but certainly not McCarthy at this stage of his career. So, again, obviously there were some highs. Obviously there was a lot of lows as well with McCarthy, which is expected with a first-time starting quarterback. No, they shouldn't have brought back Darnold. No, they shouldn't have signed Rodgers. Maybe they should have kept Daniel Jones. Just playing. But You got to take the sweet and sour, right? And hopefully this offensive line will get things going. Plus, it'd be such a Vikings thing, right? So basically, they let McCarthy get beaten like piñata, and then all of a sudden, they turn into the greatest offensive line in NFL history for Carson Wentz, and then he just like waltzes to a offensive player of the year type season. Be great. Also great. Love Justin Jefferson, man of the people for sure. And even after the tough loss to the Falcons, made some time for the fans in those suites that are right on field level. I never understood those, right? Because unless you're on like the ends or the corner, like if you're straight behind a sideline, I mean, I guess it's cool to see a sideline, except you're not going to see the game. Plus, a little bit of elevation is good for watching a game. Justin Jefferson made sure to show these fans love even after the loss. And, he was all smiles. Like, obviously, losing sucks, but Jefferson always makes times for the fans. Like, I feel like he gets that part of the game. Like, he understands. So, that's good to see. Also, the opposite of good to see is they took our safety. All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars signed safety Khalif Halassi to the active rooster. Now, Halassi was on the Vikings practice squad. Preseason superstar, had 2 picks against the Texans. Former undrafted corner turned safety in the Flores defense. And obviously they like keeping him around, but also apparently he was not protected. And and teams are allowed to protect 4 players per week. It can be the same player over and over on the practice squad. But also there's a bit of an unwritten rule that you don't raid other teams' practice squads. But it's all right. I'm sure that Grant Udinsky, well, Halassi wasn't here last year, but I don't care. Duval. But wishing him the best. They just got rid of Darnell Savage, so he's basically a depth replacement. So maybe they'll get going. There you go. And no, the Vikings don't get a comp pick. So, also, on Tell Us of Metellus a couple weeks ago, Josh Metellus said that his weird hobby is baking bread. And I actually didn't believe him until he posted some evidence on the gram. And these are looking damn professional. And I know during the Rona, everyone and their mom got into baking sourdough bread. Here's what's frustrating for me, right? I'm sure it's like therapeutic and very gratifying to bake your own bread, but we have so many good local bakeries, and I could spend $5 and get a great loaf of sourdough bread that I could never. It would take me hundreds or thousands of dollars to recreate something that's half as good. Right. But these looks good. I don't know. The wife loves the British baking show. So they don't bake bread, though. They bake cakes, right? But I don't know, like nooks and crannies and grooves and crevices. It looks good. I don't know. Plus, I always love that sourdough. It's like a live thing. And there's bakeries in San Francisco where they'll have their starter for the day. They'll use up like 97% of it, and then the remaining 3% will go into the next day starter, and that just goes over and over and over again. So technically they've had part of the same starter in spirit technically since like the 1800s. That's awesome. Speaking of numerology podcast, well, not coming soon. All right. Vikes fan page. Cam Akers is wearing number 31 for the Vikings. Now, of course, Cam Akers did wear number 31 his first time around in 2023. When he came back last year, he wore number 27. And, of course, 31 last year was assigned to our guy, Kyrie Jackson. And so the Vikings didn't assign it last year. They started recirculating it this year. Miles Price is number 31 in preseason before he switched to number 4. And, Cam, I'm sure that he understands the reverence and respect for 31, and I'm sure that he'll do it proud, and he'll be good. He'll be good to go. Yeah. Also, speaking of numbers, Desmond Ritter's wearing number 5. That's all we got. Yeah. Plus, I love that Ritter isn't coming in to be the backup. I'm actually really digging the confidence that Kevin O'Connell has in Max Brosmer. Right? They wanted him as a UDFA. They paid him $250,000 guaranteed as a UDFA. That's huge money. And now he's one snap away. One play away. So we'll see. I legit think that there's something with Brosmer, man. Absolutely do. Speaking of, Vikes fan page. Vikings quarterback Max Brosmer on going from quarterback 3 to 2. The mindset doesn't change. The mindset I've taken is continue to attack every single day and prepare like I'm the starter. That's the role of a backup quarterback in the NFL. Plus, Brosmer's actually almost 2 years older than J.J. McCarthy, and he's played a lot more football. I mean, yes, you could say that New Hampshire, FCS, whatever, but 4 years started there. Well, it might have been 5. And then 1 year with the Gophers. So he's mature. Like, he's played a lot of football, and I actually think that he is going to be a starter in this league. Now, it probably not going to be here, but I think that what you saw in preseason, what you saw in camp, just the calmness, the demeanor, the poise, the quick release, getting rid of the football, going through his reads quickly, and slinging it. I mean, there's something super interesting. And we've compared him to Brock Purdy before. And I'm not saying that J.J. McCarthy is Trey Lance. I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not saying, but I am saying that Max Brosmer is Brock Purdy. Who knows? Lastly, so the NFL is collabing with certain teams, and they're doing some Crocs, right? Now, in my much younger days, I used to be very anti-Crocs, but I'm not going to lie. These are super comfortable, and I got the turquoise because they were the cheapest, right? But in terms of like, hey, you need something to slip on to go into the garage in the winter, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, man. So I'm actually like okay with Crocs. Plus, if you ever have like small children, you definitely want to put your kids in Crocs because, especially in summer, because I mean, you just slide it on, you're good to go. You don't have to tie laces, you have to do anything like that. Plus, they like customizing them for whatever reason. But also, I love the jokes. Crocs are the best form of birth control. You think I'm trying to breed anymore? I have my progeny. We're good to go. So I don't know. Like, I'm kind of on board. I'm not digging the fur line Crocs though, right? Because that's gotta stank. That's gotta stank at a certain point. Oh, also, I have a theory that Asians don't really get body odor because there's not a lot of dairy in our diet. That might be a conversation for another day. Anyways, I'm getting these damn Crocs. No, I'm going to get my boys these damn Crocs. It's going to be good to go. So there you go. Anyways, that's it. Oh, it's Rocco's birthday day. Awesome. Anyways, that's it. You guys are the best. Have a beautiful, amazing, prosperous, joyous, and fulfilling Thursday. Love you guys. Skol. Production value.